Welcome back, America. About 5 minutes left before we get to hand things off to Grant Stinchfield. I want to turn right to Amanda. This was a really robust conversation we had today and all the different guests. But Doug Collins and the idea that you take that immunity ruling that just came out against Donald Trump and you apply it to Barack Obama or George W. Bush, it'd be pretty uncomfortable. I don't think I've heard anyone say that before, but that is really a provocative thought, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess send them all to jail because enjoying presidential immunity is kind of part of what allows a president to make decisions that they think are best for the country. But here's the thing. If you lift that presidential immunity and every president know that he's susceptible to go to prison for the rest of his life after office, maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the purity test. If you really want to be president, you just have to know that prison is waiting for you on the other side. Oh, boy. I mean, this is just such a debacle. And you're right. I mean, that opens up so much future litigation. But I certainly hope that the Supreme Court makes the reverse decision on this. So. John, you've been in journalism for a long time. There's a whole lot of hullabaloo online about Tucker Carlson going to Moscow and interviewing Vladimir Putin. Here I was thinking that was just journalism because you don't always agree with everything that the subject of your interview has to say. But, you know, it's the last block of the show. Let's give our audience some eye candy. Check out this meltdown on CNN over that.
A massive shakeup in Kyiv coming as Putin is trying to court the MAGA GOP in the United States. In fact, one of the leaders of the MAGA GOP is in Moscow tonight. It's the man you see here with the MAGA leader Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson. Possibly there in Moscow to interview Putin. Definitely there as a Putin supporting celebrity.
MAGA leader. Some of the terms they use in the coinciding pictures. It's not really journalism anymore. However, I do, John, think that Tucker Carlson is conducting journalism in this interview. But you've been a journalist your entire life. What are your thoughts?
Well, CNN ought to go back and look. In 2021, their own reporter interviewed
That's right.
Putin during a time when it was very controversial. And if you go all the way back to 2008, they interviewed him right after the incursion into the Republic of Georgia. You know, Putin was persona non grata, and I didn't hear CNN saying, oh, my God, we're terrible people. This is what we do. If a world leader takes action, we want to find out why did they do it. And it's no different than Dan Rather interviewing Saddam Hussein or Mike Wallace interviewing, I think he interviewed Putin at one point as well. I mean, so many people have done this in the past. I think it's laughable that CNN is not even looking in their own sock drawer. But I guess, well, that's CNN. That's why they're so struggling to have any ratings at all. It's just crazy.
So if them's the rules, if you are, as a journalist, are not supposed to sit across the table from a dictator like Vladimir Putin, then why did Gavin Newsom really just like, I mean, he pulled out all the stops. He did not hold anything back when Chairman Xi came to San Francisco or to Sacramento. So I don't know. I mean, you got to be consistent, but that's not really the case here. All right, John,
it's a folly of the leftist media. I mean, they have made a mockery of themselves, and shame on them. Listen, their ratings are justified by their performance. It's really what it's about.
Well, they've had to eat some serious crow when it comes to John Solomon's reporting. I do know that. Okay, John, final topic. I want to throw this over to you. Tulsi Gabbard implied that she would be open to a conversation about being the number 2 on the ticket with Donald Trump should he become the Republican nominee. What do you think that ticket would be like? They are both pretty alpha. I don't know how that works out.
Yeah, I don't know either. But listen, what does it tell you? It tells you that a lot of traditional Democrats realize that Donald Trump is more akin to their value system than the current leadership of the party. And, you know, Tulsi Gabbard was a rising star. She ran for the Democratic nomination in 2020. It's only been 4 years. And she's so disillusioned with the Democratic Party. Kennedy is disillusioned with the Democratic Party. Joe Biden has taken his party out of a lane where it can get a majority of voters. And that's probably why they're letting in so many illegals right now. They got to create voters. But I do think that it would be an interesting ticket. I don't know whether Donald Trump would be comfortable with it. But anyone who hasn't seen Tulsi Gabbard's speech at CPAC 2 years ago, go watch it. You don't have to be a Republican,
Amazing.
Democrat, Independent to appreciate what she said. Amazing.